Hello.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Genxcynics Fall Edition. I'm your host, Larry GXT,
And
and
I'm actually going to fall over now because she said fall.
oh yeah, hair is down because it's getting a little chillier, and we're gonna talk arcs, all kinds of arcs from manga to anime, whilst about just everything in between. Arcs that stretched on a bit too long, hence the punny title. Still hate myself for that.
She did it, not me. She did it. Out of the box this morning, just woke up and said, I have a title for our cast today. And I was like, oh yeah, what's that? And she said, Stretch Armstrong. And I was like, I have never loved her more than I do at this moment.
I hate everything right now. I really do.
And
And then we have arcs that we felt were done right. So we're gonna go. Thank you for the resubscribes, this and that.
Thank you for the resub.
Happy spooky month to you too.
Boo. Boo.
Now, spoiler warnings ahead if you haven't seen shows like. Good lord, man.
Sorry. If you haven't seen shows like My Hero Academia or That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, there could be stuff that you don't want to see yet because you haven't watched it. So if you're sensitive to that, please look away.
Yeah, spoiler alert. We'll try to be.
And mute us.
Yeah.
Either way.
We'll try to be mindful. We don't want to give away too much of the storyline, but to talk about why certain things stretched, there might be plot points that you hear about that you probably haven't seen yet if you haven't gone far into these series. So we're trying to be mindful, but we really want to talk about the differences between a good arc stretch and a really bad arc
Yeah, and to
stretch.
be fair, a lot of these series that we're going to talk about have been out there for a while.
Yeah.
So, like, we are just getting caught up with the My Hero stuff. We just watched Reincarnated as a Slime, and that's been out for probably a year or two, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the odds of us giving you a spoiler or something you haven't seen are kind of slim, but we still want to do the warning.
Exactly. But just right off the bat, if we didn't love these shows, we wouldn't even be bothering with them. Because like we said, with Genxcynics, a lot of our thing is, if we don't like it, we just don't mess with it.
Yeah, if I don't like it, I don't watch it.
Yeah. If we have critiques for an anime, it's because it drew us in a lot. Like my particular... Good lord, stop doing that. That's creepy. Stop.
I like you, so I'm watching you.
One of my biggest peeves, stop doing that. Oh my goodness. Is Bleach. Bleach has the ability to pull you in with the original story, get your hopes up that it's going to keep going, and then completely dash those hopes.
Completely crush it.
Crush it and turn it into dust.
Bite-sized little pieces.
Yeah. I'm not excited for the new stuff that people keep trying to hype up because I stuck it out through the manga. I read the entire series, and now I have to disavow the last arc of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I hung out for the anime, and I've been trying to watch it for 3 years. Well, complete this Ballad Club.
We're talking about arcs and storylines from our favorite animes and manga. Some of them that were really good.
Hey, Solomon.
Some of them that weren't that good. Welcome, Solomon. And the problem I feel with Bleach is it pulls you in because of Ichigo's story.
It has a good. It starts strong. It
Yeah,
has a
good
very good story,
foundation.
very good premise. It carries that for a long time, but some of the filler arcs weren't the greatest.
No, that Bound arc was awful.
And it's like no one, as far as I know, no one asked about that. Like
Yeah.
no one was asking, well, what about where vampires come from and stuff. It's like it. I didn't. That wasn't even a thought in my head.
No. And they could have made the arc where they tried to describe hell a bit better, but they didn't. And I just felt like a lot of it was, we need to just throw something where Ichigo's yelling Getsuga Tensho enough, and people will just accept it. And it's like, no, we just want to focus on Ichigo's journey.
Yeah.
And then it just kept getting more convoluted, and he ended up having to go back on a lot of stuff he established. And that's what happens when you fill a series with way too many characters. You're afraid to kill off characters. Like, it became so unrealistic by the end of the Eisen arc that it was just like, I am just seeing how this all ends.
Yeah, Ballard, you're not going to enjoy the Bounce Saga at all. It's got some funny characters in it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, I stopped watching
They were
halfway
going way too
through,
long.
and then I just caught the, they do those episodes where they recover everything that's happened thus far.
Yeah.
I just watched that to get caught up, and I think I YouTubed the last fight between him and the big bad guy at the end because I was just like, this is stupid. I was like, why is this happening now? How is this happening now? The only one that I liked that was filler was the guy that could steal
the soul sword.
The soul swords, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great filler arc.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the heck out of that.
Because it went into the lore of what the Zanpakuto were. But, unfortunately, it wasn't considered canon.
Right.
Which I would have preferred that arc to anything in the last end of the manga, that 1,000-Year War arc.
Yeah.
If you haven't read the 1,000-Year War arc from Bleach, I'm going to spare you some pain. Don't get your hopes up for anything towards Ichigo and Rukia. Don't get your hopes up for any of the captains that you were waiting for their Bankai. It was a lot of mess, and Homeboy took his money and laughed, as far as I'm concerned. The fights didn't make sense. The lore he tried to recreate didn't make sense, and he wasted a lot of opportunities to show captains that a lot of people cared about. The only thing that I will say I liked from that 1,000-Year War arc was the Kenpachi storyline, and only because you find out that the original captain of the Healing Corps was the first Kenpachi, and that backstory.
Yeah.
But they completely ruined that with Yachiru's story. So it's just like, I get upset when you stretch out an arc that long. You have too many characters, so you oversaturate with people that people won't care about, leaving the people that we wanted to find out about in the dust.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you can have characters that aren't complicated. Kenpachi is not a complicated character at all. He doesn't need a more integral backstory. And what Cal told me from his storyline, I was just like, no, I'm not going to go with that. What my brain has done and what my brain continues to do, if I like a storyline and the people that created the series screw it up, I find a cutoff point and I say I'm going to fill in the rest of that with how I think it should have ended. Yeah. So for me, the Bleach series ends at the end of the Aizen saga, and nothing after that counts. The movies are still good for the most part. The only one that I was kind of weird was the Hellverse one.
Yeah, but I didn't mind that because it delved into... Because everybody thinks about the Soul Society and Huecamundo, but there's another layer.
Yeah, there's
for the people who are just unredeemable,
are bad people.
Yeah, so... And I hate using the word unredeemable, but these are people who are unapologetic about their goals.
These were people that were serial killers, got turned into hollows.
Yeah.
And
were rejected even by that.
Yeah, because the people that are hollows, when you kill them, if they were a good person, they still get in.
And hollows tend to be people who have regrets. I think a lot of people forget that because Bleach veered away from a lot of its own lore. But what I liked about it was souls are complicated. Yeah. If you have ties to the earth, you don't want to let go of those ties.
Yeah.
Huecamundo wasn't the place of punishment. It was a place where lost souls tried to figure out what they wanted to do next. Whether they wanted to move on or if they couldn't move on, they became kind of monstrous, but they still weren't irredeemable. Yeah. That's how we saw with the Aranka.
Yeah, and then you got that in a lot of the stuff after they actually attacked, was that these weren't technically bad guys. Yeah. They were just, they wanted to...
They had regrets.
They had regrets and they wanted to be represented.
Yeah.
They were like things that people like, oh, we just weren't gonna, it's just a hollow, we just cast it off. And it's like, no, they're people.
Yeah.
There's more souls, there than just a monster.
Exactly. And I feel like in the right hands, Bleach story could be redeemed, but it needs a complete reboot. They need to stream down so many of the characters that they tried to force into the last arc especially. And I'm sorry to anybody who actually ships Ichigo and Orihime. No.
That did not even come up.
At all.
If you watch
season
it doesn't make
one, sense.
There was nothing between them. It was just a friend from school.
Yeah.
And then in season 2,
I shipped Orihime with that one girl. Yeah. For real.
And that's what I thought he was going for.
It made more sense.
And I like actually shipping them with
Ishida.
Yeah.
Ishida's another good one.
Yeah, I thought they would be a cute couple together and stuff like that. But it's like he did more to rescue Rukia than he ever did to rescue Orihime, and the fact was he didn't rescue Orihime because he wanted to. He did it because, okay, well, now they got her, now I have to go. But it was like he was going anyway.
To fight.
He wanted to fight Grimjow.
Yeah.
That's his whole point. He's like, I'm going to go fight Grimjow, and I'll catch her on the way out.
But the thing that really upset me, and Greg will tell you, I went off on this, was the fact that they put Rukia with Renji. And I'm sorry, best friend or not, your best friend would not betray you. And they never really touched upon that. He had like a little panel where they allegedly talked, but you never unpacked the fact that Renji was willing to put their friendship to the side for his duties.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, as somebody who's dating my best friend, I cut a bitch before I let them take him alive. So, yeah, I'm not okay with the whole force. Well, they're both souls. Technically, Ichigo's a soul.
I'm not going to be the bitch you cut so they don't take me alive, am I?
No, stop it. But you know what I mean? I would not set my best friend up to be taken because of duty.
Yeah, I told Cal that. I was like, I don't care how close of friends you were. After that's all said and done, like, he didn't even... The only reason he went to rescue Rukia was because Ichigo showed up first.
Yeah.
He had to fight him, and then he had a conflict with what was going on. If Ichigo hadn't showed up, Renji would have showed up for the execution and then watched her get killed.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't care what weird soul-searching thing went on there. If, from Rukia's point of view, I would just look at the person and be like, you were the person that came to take me to be killed.
Yeah.
That's going to be the final.
My best friend was willing to let me die without trying to figure out everything that was wrong. And they can use the excuse that, oh, everybody was under eyes and stuff. Nah. You don't understand the power of best friends.
Yeah.
Like, at all. And then to put them together, it just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and the thing...
I would rather Rukia had been by herself.
And the thing that people forget about, like, Aizen's power is, like, yeah, it's perfect hypnosis, so he can control all the stuff that you would hear, see, feel, and everything. But the thing with hypnosis is, and a lot of hypnotists will tell you, they can't make you do anything that's against your moral character.
Yeah.
So they can't hypnotize you and go kill a person if killing a person isn't something that you would normally do in a circumstance. So,
and any love he supposedly had for Rukia, you're going to tell me he wouldn't bend heaven and earth to make sure his friend wasn't going to be executed? Yeah. It wasn't written properly.
No.
So their so-called romance and then them getting together makes absolutely no sense. It felt forced.
And Solomon, when we ship characters, we actually do it not to the degree that some people do.
Yeah.
Where they're like, it has to be this way and it has to go through this way. We
just
like
make
talking
it
about
make sense.
Fuck out cute stuff. I know a lot of people get toxic with their shipping. And
they do.
It's like, we just like to talk about who would make a cute couple when and where, and sometimes it flip-flops characters.
And for me, with Bleach, they didn't even really need the romantic leads. Even if Ichigo and Rukia hadn't gotten together and he just continued to get strong, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, towards the end of the series, he decided one last double deuces to the fans to put couples together that make absolutely no sense at all. And for me, as much as, Orihime and Ichigo known each other, there was no build-up for that.
Yeah.
She had a lot more rapport with Ishida than any other person in that group.
Yeah, it was just like a last... Yeah, I think it's something that's unnecessary. It is unnecessary.
Yeah.
But people are gonna do it, and I just wanted to make sure, we don't do it like this is the only way the show can go, and we get angry about it. Like
I would have been a lot happier if the 1,000-Year War arc had focused on the battles. And my whole problem with Bleach in a whole is the Soul Society learned nothing from Ichigo and them infiltrating them, and then it just continued to compound. And it was like, this is supposed to be a military-style afterlife, and they learned absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I hate that in shows where you get something that happens, and the people don't learn the lesson from it happening.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, how many people? 5 people went into the Soul Society to rescue Rukia?
Yeah, 5 humans.
5 people broke in, got through our defenses, deep into our sanctuaries here, and were able to stop an execution that even the head captain came out and couldn't do anything about, and yet they didn't restructure to make sure that it couldn't happen again.
Yeah. And then all the deaths that happened in that arc, because it was so stretched out, they didn't at all make the Quincy's make sense, and he already set up in the first series why the Quincy's had every right to hate the Soul Society. So that would have made a lot more sense than just to have some megalomaniac bad guy.
Yeah.
The Quincy's had every right to not trust the Soul Society because they treated them like threats. He could have easily worked that storyline and had an actual war between the two factions that made sense, but he didn't.
No.
He just wanted them to, they're just typical bad guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. That's my problem with arcs that, A, stretch too long, B, it just felt more visual than storytelling.
Yeah, and then there's the stuff that they, like I said, the Rukia and Renji, Ichigo and Orihime, and then there's just other stuff that just doesn't make sense. Like the whole thing, my favorite character, honestly, in the whole show is...
I loved Aizen. I'm sorry. Aizen was such a... That's what really kept me going for Bleach, because it was such a gut punch, because you thought he was a nice guy, and he pulled off that nice guy,
that
unassuming so well.
That was the best
reveal.
Just, what the twist moment that I have ever seen in any show, because I was with everybody. I was like, okay, I thought the bad guy was gonna be
Byakuya or something.
No, one guy that smiles all the time.
Jin.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be Jin.
Love Jin's
and I thought it was
too.
like, how creepy is this guy that he's got everybody fooled? And then when the reveal come up that it was Aizen the whole time, I was just like,
wow.
And that was it. I was watching the show, and when they revealed it, I was just like, I was stunned. I was just like, I like that guy. He seemed like such a nice guy, and it turned out that he's just a colossal dick.
Yeah.
You know? But one of my favorite characters is Zangetsu, and...
Yeah, that got retconned.
That made no sense. Cal tells me that, like, he's not even Ichigo's real sword. I was like,
he's
well,
the Quincy bad guy.
That doesn't make any sense, because...
At all.
Ichigo's hollow form... If you watch from the earlier stuff, disappears into him and then basically replaces him, and then they fuse together.
He totally retconned that.
If anybody would know that guy didn't belong in Ichigo's spirit world, it would be the hollow form of Ichigo. It's like, why would you even do that?
I don't know. It wasn't a good idea.
That's why I say I disavow it. It didn't happen.
And my thing is, there's only one part of the 1,000-Year War arc that I truly enjoyed, and that was they brought back Aizen, because the Quincy's thought, this is our way in. We can use him, because they locked him away. And Aizen was like, I'm not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for,
If I didn't work for them, what makes you think I'm going to work for you?
Exactly. Thank you for showing me I can still use my abilities while tied up. Yeah. And it was a brilliant moment for him. Because Aizen, for real, I don't feel like he's that much of a bad guy. He just realized that the way the Soul Society is currently structured is flawed, and he thought he could be better at running it.
He actually did a bad guy kind of the right way. It wasn't that he was just evil to be evil. He thought he knew better.
Exactly. He wanted to restructure the way the Soul Society and so much of the stuff that was normal does. And that's a lot of villainy that I don't think people get. Most villains don't think they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I do like about My Hero Academia is it doesn't take much to turn somebody with power into somebody unstable.
Yeah.
And a lot of these so-called villains really think they're doing the greater good, because they feel like metahumans especially, or people with quirks, are being oppressed.
Yeah.
And then there are just some that are psycho, and they don't really address how society treats people with mental health issues. But if you watch anime like My Hero Academia, you see it clearly when society shuns you, when you're treated like you're different or weird or ostracized because of it, how easily you can be manipulated into being a pawn.
Yeah.
One of the things that I liked about the latest arc we watched was how the Yakuza has so many loyal people, and I told Axiom, for real, that is how organized crime works. As somebody who grew up adjacent to it, because I would never admit to being involved in it, that's stupid.
Right.
But as somebody who got to see it from an outsider's perspective up close, you got to see how they took people that society cast out, called bums, didn't want to look at you or deal with you, you're nothing, and made them feel like they were something. And they gave them complete loyalty. And that's what My Hero Academia does well. But what has been driving me nuts, especially in these latest arcs, is that weird flash forward, flashback style.
I don't like that.
It's too much.
It worked well once, and then it seems like they doubled down on it.
Yeah.
Where like, okay, we're gonna reference this, but we're gonna move the story forward, and then while you're waiting for a new story in that, they're like, okay, now we're gonna flash back to that thing that we told you about
10 months ago.
And I was just like, why didn't you just show it in sequence?
Yeah.
It would have been just as interesting in that sequence as what you're doing. But I don't understand why they would do that.
The whole idea of the villains powering up is fun.
It gets confusing.
But it is. It's like, I don't need to see something that happened before. I get it. They powered up. You should have had it side by side with the kids powering up. It would have made more sense. I felt like we sat through a long-ass filler sense of people that I really don't care if they live or die anyway, because they all have way too many issues. Yeah. So I was like, can we get back to the kids? Because I was loving their training.
They introduced a whole new set of villains, or basic villains and stuff, and then they were gone within a few episodes because they were like, well, we just needed these to build up the story.
Yeah, a bunch of red shirts, basically.
Solomon wants to know what your favorite thing. What is your
favorite anime of all time is Sailor Moon. All over our walls, Sailor Moon stuff. I know, magical girl anime, but I loved mythology, and it was the first anime that dealt with a lot of Japanese and Greek mythology, so I just love that combo, and I'm still a huge fan of it. Currently, my favorite current anime is Out That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime.
I'd have to say the same thing, and I'd have to think about some of the older anime that I watched to actually come up with a favorite.
I think I'm looking at one of your favorites right now.
Yeah. That is definitely one of the
Claudia and Roy, man,
on the top of my anime list. But I'd have to think about it and get back to you guys on it.
I mean, honestly, my top 3 is Sailor Moon, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and That Time I Was Reincarnated as Slime. And I love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because it's stuck close to the manga. Now, I don't hate the original, and that's one of the rare animes where I like both versions. I think the original just went too far off course, but I like them both for what they are. They both pulled the motions out of me.
And the thing that, like, I didn't not like the original, but, like, when it started to go a little off course for me, I love Yu Yu Hakusho too. So that's
that was another good one. There's so many good ones.
Animes out there that have just a story that pulls you in.
Yeah.
I have a hard time picking one over the other because it's like there's a lot of them that I could rewatch and enjoy it, like Dead Man Wonderland.
Yeah, Gundam Wing.
Inuyasha to a point.
Yeah, Inuyasha just got dragged out way too long, and then she built us up, and that fight was so disappointing.
Right.
And it was like, don't build up Miraku to be this big bad, and then have that fight be such a non-factor.
Yeah.
It wasn't thrilling at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like if she had condensed it just a little bit more, not stretched out the going back and forth through time, and just focused on Miraku and Inuyasha's epic battle and made it that, it would have been better. So that's why I'm kind of more hopeful for the newer series, because there'll be less focus on that.
Yeah, but even the final thing where they said we're just going to cut it off and finish it up, I was like, that was still drawn out.
Yeah, it was a long series though. You got me 3 of the thick mangas, and I don't even think it's halfway through the story.
Oh no, that's just all beginning. Stuff.
She really dragged that out.
Oh My Goddess is another good one.
Yeah, I loved Oh My God.
Serial Experiments Lane. That's one of my favorites too.
That's one of my favorites as well. But that one is its own contained. It's not stretched out in arc form, which I like. Yeah. I just like sometimes sitting and watching an anime that has a direct story. Yeah. And that was my one problem with Sailor Moon, the original version too. They had that weird Anne and Isle saga, which had nothing to do with the manga. They just needed a filler between what happened in R and what happened in the review series, because they left that off on the cliffhanger. She wasn't sure if she was killing Pluto off or not either. Right. And then the voice actress for Pluto happened to pass away too, so it was a mess.
Yeah.
So they needed a filler arc, and they brought that weird Anne and Isle thing, and that is one of the only arcs of Sailor Moon that I really don't care for.
Yeah, the problem with it. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, Solomon. It's a beefy story, and it's just like we were talking about One Piece.
Yeah.
I was like, that's still going on, and the person that's still writing it has said, I'm getting tired of writing this. I was like, dude, you control it.
Yeah.
You can end this at any time.
I feel like he wants to give Luffy a decent arc. He wants to make it make sense. So I can understand why he's getting tired. And the difference between One Piece for me and even Bleach, from the limited exposure I have to One Piece, when you watch it, you care about the characters. Yeah. Even if they're not like main characters. I fell in love with Carrot.
Yeah.
And I know she wasn't an original crew member, but her story pulled me in and made me go, I'm eventually going to sit and try to watch this whole series.
Yeah.
And that is the power of having characters you actually care about, and you're not just tossing in randos. And that's the problem when you have a big, incompetent series, too. You have to be careful on who people fall for.
Yeah, and you gotta be careful when anytime you create something as well, it's gonna take on a life of its own.
Yeah.
So you may end up wanting to tell one story, but if you don't keep it to the path of that story and you start exploring this path and that path and this path and that path, it can go roll beyond your control.
And that's what I'm worried about with Slime, because I'm currently reading the manga, which I'm loving, because there's a bit of a break between the episodes we're waiting for to be dubbed. And they have, like, at least 7 different spin-offs now. Yeah. And it's like, I really hope the anime just focuses on Rimuru journey, because one of the things I really love about the series is it turns everything we think about fantasy and monsters on its head. You're rooting for all the people, especially if you play games like I do, MMOs like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. All the monsters we're normally tasked to kill for loot and stuff are the people that I'm rooting for in this story. And I love that. I love that it makes me think about those people as actual beings worth rooting for and saving, instead of the people that I normally, every Sunday you see me go into dungeons killing orcs, killing goblins, killing slimes, and now I think about it a bit more.
Yeah.
And I like that the story has you do that, because so many times we think we're the heroes of the adventures.
Yeah.
And we're not thinking from the perspective of the monsters. And I love seeing it from the perspective of the so-called monsters.
Yeah. And something else that we liked about this series is there wasn't a lot of recap episodes.
Yeah, there was good pacing with that.
With My Hero, we watched it, and there were like 4 or 5 recap episodes. They weren't all in a row, but it was spaced out, and it was a lot of exposition on what was going on, what has happened, what people are expecting to happen.
Too much crying.
And it was just like, okay, we get it. It's like, we're watching this all at one time. I was like, you guys need to speed it up. And Slime definitely had some of that. I think there was like 3 episodes in a row where they kind of recovered what was going on.
Yeah.
And then they started spacing it out a little bit more. And I think that's the wise way to go. If someone is coming new into the show, they're going to maybe catch 1 or 2 episodes, but then they're going to be curious and they're going to go back and watch episode 1. So the recaps don't need to happen as often.
Yeah.
But it does, I think, help to have them in there.
And I felt like even the arcs that felt more fillery, like the ones with the kids, still all tied together to Rimuru's journey. It wasn't something that you could take away and not miss, because he was honoring a promise. So I love how they keep it all together. Feels cohesive. It makes sense. And I feel like we'll see those kids in the future because of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I love when a story does that. You bring in characters that some people might think, oh, they're not going to matter. Why did they do this? But I feel like the story was set up because Rimuru's whole ideal is to make more unity within the lands. He doesn't want discord like some people with power.
And that's the funny part about it, is like it started off with one good thing to help people out, and then it just snowballed into another good thing, to another good thing, to another good thing, and the next thing you know, they got a whole kingdom with him leading it.
And I like the fact that they've made it clear that sometimes you have to do horrible things to maintain good, because Rimuru had to cross that line, and I didn't at all feel upset with him for what he did.
And
at all.
That was the good part about it, was it was done in such a way that it was just like, no, he didn't seek this out.
No.
This conflict came to his home and his doorstep.
It was the exact epitome of, I am going to become the monster you made me out to be.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. People don't start out that way when they have good intentions, but if you're pushed into a corner, sometimes you have to push back.
Yeah, and it's a very good example of people creating the thing that they're worried about.
Yeah.
And it's like the Star Wars.
Yeah.
I was like, Anakin was so focused on not losing his wife and not losing any of the stuff that he cared about that he caused it to happen because that became his focus. He blocked everything else out. And I was like, if you would have just relaxed and did what you were trained to do, he could have changed his whole story.
But you know how I feel about the whole Jedi nonsense.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
anyway.
I don't care for how the...
I don't believe that people... I mean, as a sociopath, I cut off my emotions, but that's not healthy.
No.
And you telling people that the only way for them to get better, be more disciplined, is to cut off their emotions, and that's why you have so much instability.
Yeah.
You gotta stop teaching people that emotions are bad, because when you cut them off, you start cutting other
things. And that's
things.
the thing. Is like, and that's the other thing that I hate. It's a great example of what we were just talking about. People not learning about the stuff that they were shown.
Yeah.
I was like, clearly, the Jedi's had plenty of notices. Like, hey, how come we can't do this anymore? How come we can't do that anymore? Oh, let's just stick to the tried and true methods. I was like, no, that's what got you here.
Tradition bullcrap. That cause and effect is there, but people refuse to see it because it worked for them. Yeah. And if it worked for me, it'll work for everybody. Has never worked for a lot of people.
Yeah.
We are seeing that in reality, that it doesn't work when you try to one size fit all everything. But you know,
and I think people need to realize is like, just because something works doesn't mean it's always going to work.
Yeah.
You have to evolve what you're doing. Otherwise, it's not going to grow.
Exactly.
You're going to stagnate, and then it's going to eventually fall apart. So you have to constantly be looking for ways to improve and adapt to a changing situation.
Yeah. And you have to allow people redemption. One of the things, to go back to My Hero Academia, he laughs at me, but I'm not a fan of Bakugo. I'm trying because I watched him in the movies, and I liked him in the movies, but watching him from season 1, now we're up to season 5, I don't understand how that kid believes he's a hero. He has a very bad attitude, and it comes from nowhere. Yeah. It comes from ego. It comes from an insecurity problem that he tends to make a superiority complex. He's just a bad attitude wrapped up in a human being. I don't want to call him a bad kid because he still wants to do right by people, but he's very rude, he's very loud, he gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
And for me, in that early episode where he tells Izuku to kill himself, I was done.
Yeah.
I don't like when people do that.
That is never okay.
It is a really sensitive topic for me, so having a kid say that to somebody, it's going to be hard to redeem him in my eyes. Yeah. I know it's possible, and that's why I say I don't believe that there's no path to redemption. It's just I don't feel that anybody's really looked him in the eye yet, even though Best Jean is trying.
Yeah.
And said, you're not a hero.
Yeah.
You don't act like a hero. Your attitude stinks. Who is going to run to you when they need help?
Yeah.
He really needs that real talk. And for me, I feel like a lot of how people are raised in certain areas come to play. You don't want to talk about bad things. You want to suppress it. You want to act like everything's okay. Being raised black, we don't do it that way. It's messy sometimes, but you get that emotion out sometimes and just put it out there. And I think they need a character like that for real, because way too many people with these quirks suppress things and then it comes out in other ways.
Yeah.
Bakugo feels insecure to somebody who didn't even have a quirk.
Yeah.
And because of that, he decided to be a bully instead of working through that. And if he had somebody you could talk to about it, maybe he wouldn't have been such a dick.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Everybody just kept telling them, oh, you're great. You got a marvelous quirk. You're great. You got a marvelous quirk. And it created a monster. Now the monster has to try to correct his behavior.
And live up to a standard that he shouldn't have had to be put at in the first place.
Yeah.
You don't tell a kid that they're strong. You tell a kid that they need to build up the stuff. He had it in his mind from like the get-go that he was the greatest. And it's like, you haven't even done anything yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I want to see his redemption arc make sense. And I've heard in the manga it does. So I'm looking forward to how they translate it. But it's still one of those things where if I hadn't seen him in the movie, I wouldn't have been able to stomach it. And I'm glad you let me watch the movies first before we started.
I thought the movies would be a good, because it shows a lot. It has a good story. It has a lot of action in it, and it was really well paced. So you could see kind of where the characters were going to end up.
Yeah.
But it is like that series, and I maintain it. First 3 episodes are the hardest part to get through. If you can get through those first 3, you're good, because everything picks up after that, and everything starts to make sense, and you get to like the characters
before they stretch it out again.
Those first couple episodes, man, I wasn't sure I was going to make it, and then I was just like, well, let me give it one more, and then it pulled me right in.
And then like the arc after they saved that little girl.
Yeah.
I was rooting for it because I wanted them to continue to show how somebody who goes through horrible abuse can slowly heal from it. So I was excited, but then they threw in these weird filler villain characters, and I get that My Hero Academia wants to explain how ostracized people will go to the dark side. I get it. I just feel like that arc didn't need that.
Right.
I felt like the 2 villains in the story were a waste of time.
Yep.
It got on my nerves, and I could not wait for them to be done. Yeah. It just
and not
wasn't
to say
needed.
that they weren't interesting characters.
Yeah.
If they would have been brought in at any other time, like, hey, we found these, they're not heroes, but they're mercenary rogue type.
Or they just want to go viral. It made sense for what we see today.
Yeah.
We're all digitally connected, so people showing off for clicks and views is not a surprise.
Yeah.
But I
that
just
story
felt
didn't
like,
need it.
Yeah, it felt forced into they already had enough drama from just trying to get together for this event.
Yeah.
And trying to show the touching part of getting through the area that everything was going to be okay would have been perfect. It didn't need that forced other storyline.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It kind of brings down the whole episode a little bit, because it's like I was into just watching the kids be kids for a change. Instead of fighting a villain or fighting something that...
It was a palate cleanser from...
It was a nice palate cleanser, and it was just like, oh, but here's a little bit of story mixed in just to kind of make it so that you don't get a completely cleansed palate.
Yeah, and they stretched it out so long, and that is one of the things that I can't stand about anime. I love the stories, but they go through DBZ syndrome, I feel like, where you get a fight that should just only be a few minutes at max, because these kids are not weak.
Yeah. And
they stretch it out through like 4 or 5 episodes. It's like, wrap it up. Yeah. I don't care about this person anymore.
Yeah.
Knock them the fuck out and keep it moving. You know? I'm just over it.
Yeah, that's like, I get that filler episodes have to happen, because you can only, if you got a good story that's in a manga format or in a novel format, and someone is currently writing it, and you want to run the show in conjunction with the novels, you're going to reach a point where the show usually overtakes the novels. So you have to come up with filler of some sort, but make the filler make sense.
Make it omakis then. Make it little vignettes that have nothing to do with the major story.
Yeah, give us a little bit of story in that world that doesn't deal with the main characters or slightly deals with the main characters.
Yeah. Like there are a whole
the ones
world
off The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You got a whole world. You got a whole school.
I love those Walking Dead shorts. The webisodes where you got build up to like the bicycle lady and how she ended up laying on the ground before Rick puts her out. Yeah. You had stuff like the cold storage people who ended up in the same storage place that Rick stored family photos and everything else. Little things like the people who wrote "Don't Go In, Dead Inside." There was little things like that would have made the stories a lot better.
Persona 4 has 2 episodes like that. Yeah, and that would be a better filler episode. And literally, we have a whole school that has probably hundreds, if not thousands of students in it. That
not all of them are hero-based, but they got quirks.
Yeah, you have the
research and development and business.
And the business class. Do little side shows of those characters.
Yeah.
You have a whole
My Hero Analytica. For real. What I really hope for in both the manga and the anime is them to understand that power doesn't just come from actual physical and attack quirks. Some of the best heroes are strategic.
Yep.
They know how to analyze the situation and process what they need to do. And I think that when you sleep on those kids that aren't in the hero course, you do that whole school a disservice.
Yeah.
You know, I get that the hero course is the flashiest, but the school in whole is made up of a whole bunch of different students. And I would have loved to see more of that than that weird gentleman guy in La Brava.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I
That
can't.
was just weird.
It was weird.
I don't, like I said, I don't
like,
hate the characters.
Exactly.
But it was just like...
They felt so unnecessary.
You put those characters in an episode where I just wanted to watch the kids be kids.
Yeah.
And it took away from the episode.
It was a distraction.
I was like, they could have done more just watching them prepare for everything.
Yeah, I felt bad because it was more like I was kicking the character who already got kicked so much. Life kicked that man's butt.
Yeah.
And I do like his backstory because it really does clearly show how a series of unfortunate events or power that people don't understand can be mistreated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in a whole nother arc, especially since they did that whole arc about the villains, that would have made more sense there. But to take that and force it into an arc that should have been more touching, should have been more focused on the kids, that's why one of the things that dings My Hero Academia for me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still a good series.
Yeah, still a great series.
I still love most of the kids in Class 1A.
Yeah.
Bakugo still hasn't grown on me yet. I'm still pissed at that kid.
I do like Endeavor's growth on the show. Though.
He is really... It's hard for me to watch their arc because I see a lot of parallels to stuff I went through with my ex. So, like, we joke about it because he made me laugh during the scene. I cried really hard watching Todoroki's mom sitting in the hospital. And it's just hard when you've been through that to see a family going through that, dealing with direct mental health issues, dealing with the stress of a spouse that's harming you and potentially harming your kids. So it hits your heart when you watch it, but I do believe Endeavor really wants to change.
True, how's it going?
Hey, True, welcome to the chat.
Are you feeling better, buddy, or are you still getting your butt kicked by that shot?
I hope you're feeling better.
I hope you're getting your butt kicked.
Oh my goodness, you stop it. No, he doesn't.
I don't. I have to do that to her sometimes.
Good Lord. But I truly feel like the thing with Endeavor is he's still doing the wrong things from where we left off.
Right. But I think it's an overcorrection. He doesn't know how to fix it, and his thing is to fix it. And it's like, don't try to fix it. Just be better than what you were, and it'll eventually fix itself.
And you keep saying it. His own mind is giving him the root of the problem, but he's not getting it. He keeps saying, I see my family laughing happy and talking to each other, but I'm not there.
I'm up and walking now. I'm feeling better.
Nice. I'm glad. But he's not getting that. That's his own mind telling him that they're better off without him.
Yeah.
If you want them to forgive you, you have to be there. And you're going to have to take all of the pain that you caused them and accept that it's going to take them time.
You have to own it.
Yeah, distancing yourself from your family is not going to have them forgive you. It's not going to make them happier. And sorry, as the now big dog superhero, your family's going to be targeted. So leaving them, what's that going to do?
Yeah, I was like, you left the kid alone and he got kidnapped.
Yeah.
So it's like, be there and just tell him. I was like, I'm going to work on being better. I apologize for what I did. I can't excuse what I did.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't try to excuse what I did. I did it. It was done for the wrong reasons. It was not something I meant to do, but I did it, and I have to own that and just be better.
Yeah. But the whole idea, and there's a lot of men who do that, and like I said, I'm speaking on personal experience. They realize they messed up, but they don't know how to fix it. So they think the best thing they can do is just distance themselves. And sometimes a kid just wants their dad. Yeah. They might not understand the way their dads act or the way they're treated. And sometimes you realize early on that your dad's not really shit. But when they reach out and when you're willing to let them reach out, they need to embrace that instead of running away. And too many parents in general, not just dads, take the easy road for them.
Yeah.
They want to save face or they don't want to deal with the heavy, so they choose to run because they think they're doing us a favor, and you're not. Getting it out is always best. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things before my dad passed, was reaching out to me, and I'm glad he did, because I was able to let go a lot of the resentment that I was holding on to.
Right.
It didn't solve all the problems. It didn't help a lot of the things I went through, but the fact that he finally stopped running helped us at the end. I don't think it's fair that once we finally started talking, okay, he's dead,
right.
But that's just how life is.
Yeah.
But I think I at least have that memory of we got to talk. And it wasn't screaming at each other. It wasn't arguing with each other. I'm telling you, y'all laugh at that suicide with homeboy and his daughter.
Yeah.
But that was how we were talking to each other before we decided to try to work things out. And it was funny seeing that, because that shit's reality.
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah. And that's
having somebody tell you getting caught is the worst thing.
Yeah,
that's a reality.
That's what I liked about how James Gunn did that. Is like, I think he pulled from a real place for it. He didn't try to make it like, okay, I'm going to make this comic book movie, and you have the scenario. No, he put real people and real situations in there, and that's why it was so much better than the first one.
Exactly. And that's why I want people to understand that when we watch these animes, certain things will trigger from them, because a lot of them are dealing with stuff that we all deal with. Bullying is still a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ostracism is still a real thing. Whether you have powers or not, plenty of us, especially us who consider ourselves geeky or nerdy, has had to deal with society that looks down on the things we like.
Excuse me, who are you calling a nerd?
Yeah, Matt. I tell people all the time at high school. Good Lord, man.
I'm sorry, I'm done now.
In high school, a lot of my friends did not realize the stuff I was into. They had no idea that I was into anime or sci-fi or any of that stuff, because I wore one face at school, and then when I got home, I was in my full geeky glory. They didn't know I collected comic books. When I put my comic book pictures and my Sailor Moon pictures years ago on Facebook, my friends were like, where did this come from? I was like, it was always there. You just didn't know.
Oh, yeah,
I let you see the face I needed you to see.
I wore my geek on my sleeve when I was a kid. See? I kind of wish I'd have gone to school in the nowish times, not really because of COVID and everything, and I just couldn't deal with that, but because of how
mainstream everything
everything is. All the stuff that I did at school would have been not as weird.
You know what was more mainstream when we were in school? The fact that bullying was like normal.
Yeah.
Like, even teachers got in on that crap.
Yeah.
So I really feel you on that, but I kind of like that we went to school when we did.
I wouldn't trade the time frame that we grew up in for anything, because we got the best shows.
Yeah.
We had Transformers, we had Thundercats, we had...
and we are like the young olds, because we remember the before times, before everything was digital. I got a lot of crazy stuff out of my system before it could be digitally uploaded, and y'all are stuck with some of the dumb things y'all have uploaded. I don't have that, and I'm happy.
There is a lot of dumb shit I did as a kid that there is no video evidence of it, and I am happy.
Safe inside my mind.
When I forget it, it'll be gone.
Yep.
Because that's the only place it exists anymore. There's nobody. They didn't have cell phones that, hey, look, I can look everything up on this little handy device here.
Put this on the TikTok.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on TikTok, and it'll be TikTok famous. And there's going to be a bunch of kids that have embarrassing footage of themselves as a kid in the future.
I just think of like,
hey, we found a video of you on TikTok. You're gonna be like Robin Sparkles off How I Met Your Mother.
Kiddos generation though, because there are a lot of millennials our age and stuff that are younger too, who have kids our age, kiddos age, who have done this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Who you imagine going online and seeing like viral videos of your parent.
Yeah.
There are going to be a younger generation traumatized by the clicks and views and clout types.
And that's the thing that. Baller Club, you do not need to hear those stories.
We will safe inside our minds.
We will take those stories to the grave.
To the grave.
And it will be the first double murder you ever see, because we will just take each other out so that you can't hear those stories. Tell one of mine. Okay, Solomon. Yeah, feel free, man.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, the about the people like chasing clout and stuff. It's like, you guys got to realize when you're on social media, just be yourself.
Yeah.
There is going to be people out there. No, you don't have to try to sell yourself. There's going to be people that will gravitate toward you just because they're the same kind of person you are.
Or at least they like what you have to say. And I tell people on the flip side of that, because people see my Twitter numbers, for some reason they think it's special. Oh, how do you do that? I just say what I want to say.
Yeah.
And half the time there are people that will follow you because they like one thing you say, and then the moment you say something they don't like, they want to fight you. And I tell people all the time, I'm not at the airport, hit that unfollow,
Yeah.
I won't remember you.
Yeah.
And I've been like that for 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
changing any aspect of my personality.
Like, we watched that one true crime thing on there about that one girl that was on YouTube all the time trying to sell herself as a like an influencer and stuff, and then she ends up like murdering her husband.
Yeah.
And it was like, was it worth it? I mean,
No.
you're
in jail?
You're in jail now, and she still, the behavior hasn't changed.
At all.
She doesn't really think she did anything wrong.
No.
And it was like,
she thinks she can build from that.
yeah, and I was like, there's going to be a generation of kids from now that become adults, and they're going to have to deal with the fact that we have video evidence of you being a clout chaser. It's not worth it. The clicks, the likes, the views, it's not worth your mental health, your physical health. Just be who you are.
Yeah. And the right people
The
will
right
gravitate
people will
towards
find you. It may take a bit. It's not going to be an instant overnight thing.
And you don't want that either. That's
just
too
get
much
on
pressure.
there and be you, and then take little mental health breaks for yourself.
Yeah. The thing I told Axiom when we both got into streaming is, if you're not feeling it, don't push it, because that comes across.
I had one of those days
yesterday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one of the days Friday. It wasn't in me that day. I woke up and I was just like, you know what? This is just a really low day for me. I don't feel like going on and being in front of the camera and playing something. I didn't really like playing anything. So I did something else. I took a mental health day for myself. I sat down, I did some video editing, and I just enjoyed the day.
And it's important. Too many, especially in our field now, streaming, being on YouTube, you think you have to be
I tossed
on.
the guy down the stairs.
Wow. That went from 0 to 100.
I was not prepared for that.
At all.
Like, I'm assuming there's more of a story. You just didn't walk up behind a guy and yeet.
Wow. Well, I know who I want on my enforcer crew. Thank you, Solomon.
Yeah, it's like, unless that is what happened, then you go downstairs in front of me.
Yeah, you owe the money.
You owe me money.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand that.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand that a little bit now, yeah. But now I got the Stewie and Brian episode of Family Guy in my head. Where's the money? Where's the money, man? You got money to buy fake mustaches? You ain't got money to pay me back?
Yeah. But for real, y'all, I just
$20 is $20.
Wow. Mental note: don't borrow money.
No, I'm not borrowing any money.
I just want people to
If I
understand.
do, I'm staying away from stairs.
Yeah.
And elevator shafts.
Everything needs to be done with regards to your well-being. We watch a lot of entertaining stuff, but we never do it to a point where we're neglecting our sleep, neglecting our health habits and stuff, and streaming is the same way.
Yeah.
We want to see y'all on, but not to the point where it's
people trying
detrimental.
to get like TikTok famous.
Yeah.
I was like, that one video, and Cal told me to post it. I wasn't going to do anything with it. I was doing a sound check
I
last
just
week,
thought it was funny.
and I leaned over and I was like, I can't see you back there in the darkness. And then she's like, I'll drag you in the darkness. And I just
Yeah.
thought it was a funny video, so I replayed it for her, and she goes, you should do that to TikTok. I was like, I haven't TikToked before.
Yeah.
And she's like, do it, it'll be funny. So I did it, and it got a couple of likes, and it's funny. So I get to share that with, but that wasn't anything. I didn't have to stage it.
No, that's just our
That
natural
was just
reaction
us
to
being
it.
us, and I happened to catch it on video that time.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care.
And he already knows that I like the balance between not putting too much of our lives on the internet and just being our normal personality. So if we do something funny and we're both agreeing with it, we'll put it up, but that's not gonna be our thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to put something on there that embarrasses Cal that will get me clicks and likes and stuff, but no, don't share that, I don't want to see that. And I thought I saw something on your shelf back there move, and if it moves again, I'm running.
You do realize the air probably hit.
Yeah, I know.
It
was probably just the light because it kind of
yeah
flickers and stuff like
it's
that.
It's spooky.
Yeah.
That's the spirit trying to get onto our show.
you guys will see an axiom-shaped cloud. It'll be like a Looney Tunes cartoon, and then I'll just be out this door.
And every time you move that, it does that too. So I think it's from the air purifier.
It could be. I have the air purifier tipped over here, kind of blowing on us to keep us cool.
Yeah, because this weather is bipolar too. One moment it's really super cold, we wake up freezing, and then it's hot again. It's like, pick a season.
Yeah.
I'm over it. I want to wear my hair down.
We're starting to get to that weather pattern where it's just like, you never know when you're going to wake up and the state's just going to go, I'm going to do all the seasons in one day.
Yep. Winter, spring, summer, fall, go!
I'm going to make ice frogs.
Yes. But for real,
trying to manifest to see my friends.
Everybody's quirks is coming to life.
Yeah. The shot's finally working!
Yay! But yeah, we love stories and we love arcs. And like I said, there are arcs that have been done well, arcs that could have been done better, and arcs we probably don't even think about because they were so terrible.
Yeah.
But a lot of these shows we love talking about because something about them drew us in. And we hope to continue to watch them. Like, I'm looking forward to more My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Yeah, and to be fair here, and we've talked about this before, I'm not gonna say if, when some of our stuff takes off, when our book gets published and everything like that, and we get extra income to be able to do little projects on this, don't be surprised if this one here buys the rights to Bleach and rewrites the story.
I would love to.
Because
I would love to streamline it so much.
She has told me some of her ideas, and it makes the story so much better than what it was, or what it currently is. And my whole thing is to see that happen.
I would love to just see certain character aspects. Like, I know some people probably don't remember Hanataro, but I do, and I really wanted to see his arc. And I'm still pissed that he didn't get a real arc.
Yeah.
Because his powers would be devastating if trained.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand how you could give us a little snippet of that cute little boy with a chicken, and then just decide not to go nowhere with it.
There was so much, like, you had a character, and it's like, okay, that character just needs some development, but instead of developing that character, you decided to just introduce another character.
Yeah.
I was like, all you had to do was develop that character for that role, and it would have made sense.
Yep. So there's just so much that I would love to do, and I really want to keep practicing the drawing because I really want to animate some of our shorts from our DE days, because I feel like those tales are fun.
Yeah.
I love the way we stayed in character in that game, and that's something people don't understand when it comes to games. A lot of games that say role playing don't really allow you to role play. We had a good 7-year game. I'm gonna say 7 years, where when you logged in, no real world stuff was allowed.
Yeah.
It was, you had to stay in character. If you got caught out of character, you could be taken out of the game at the mod's discretion.
If you did it abundantly.
Yeah.
There was a error where sometimes if you put a command in wrong and something came out that you meant to whisper to somebody, which would be like the equivalent of an instant message in the system, you could, you had to clear it. You'd be like, sorry, I don't know what that was. What was I just talking about? And they would overlook it. But if you like blatantly came in and be like, hey everybody, did you see that thing on TV last week and this happened and this happened?
As a mod, I got to zap people that did that.
They kept everything specifically, you are that character.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. It wasn't a visual game because it was an online MUD, but you got to be the character that you wanted to play. And there was nothing to pull you out of it. And
some of the stories we developed from that was just a lot of fun, and I think people would have fun watching it from that point of view. So
yes, I mean, there was exceptions made. It was only if you abused it and you didn't learn the lesson. You got a warning.
Yeah.
In the system that said, hey, don't do that again. That's not what we're trying to do here. And people actually on there would whisper to you and say, hey, you need to stop that. That's not cool.
As a mod, you could give them a warning. And then a lot of times we would time somebody out. And the timeout You know, and he changed that after what happened to me, but I didn't have a problem with it. Was your character was put in like an asylum type setting.
Yeah, because you were talking crazy.
Yeah. So you were given pudding and stuff like that, and he took it out for a bit because of what happened to me, and I told him just put it back in.
Yeah.
It for me felt more offensive for him to take it out because he was worried about offending me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, we had so many fun things go on between just the two of us. But a lot of our friends did too, and we still have a group. I don't talk on Facebook much, but when I do check it out, that is still hopping.
Yeah.
After it's been almost 15 years since the game.
Yeah.
And we all still, people have grown, some have gotten married, had kids. They still remember because we had that much fun.
Yeah.
So I really would love to illustrate some of them stories.
Yeah.
Because it was a fun time.
Yep. And I've shared a link in the chat there for my petition for trying to get the Tales of Symphonia re-released on the Switch. If you guys can click on that, sign the petition, or share it, I would appreciate it. It's actually, I got it when I was signed in to check it out. They said that I had got enough views to earn a $25 promotion.
Oh,
so
nice.
they will promote it on their website now.
Oh, good.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because it's a good game, and I think it should be re-released. I mean, Nintendo has been doing that for a lot of other series, so why not this one?
Yeah, it's just, I worry that by the time they get to it, since, like, we're just now getting N64 games on the console, it's going to be, like, 2 consoles down the road before they start doing GameCube games, and I can't wait that long. I want to replay my game.
I'm impatient!
Well, it had replay value, because you could do different, based on what characters you used in your party, you got a little bit of a different story, and there's a ton of characters that I never used that I wanted to go back and replay, but unfortunately, new consoles come out, new systems come out, and then you don't get to play those.
Yeah. So, I definitely agree, and I'll definitely reshare the petition on Twitter to see, because a lot of my friends are like,
you don't want to see my sad face, do you?
No.
You don't want to see the sad face.
Oh my goodness, y'all. But we're going to get ready to wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us for this version of the Genxcynics cast. We are really enjoying doing these live streams for y'all, and we plan on doing more next week. But until then, Axiom will be back on Monday with his live Mario Mondays,
and I'm thinking Fridays, since we're in October, I'm going to do kind of spooky, like a Frightening Fridays is going to make its way back.
This could be fun.
I don't know what, like, I don't think Ghostbusters will last the entire month.
No, but they've got a new Tiny Nightmares now from Little Nightmares.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I just seen the article about that. I was like, oh, I'm going to tell Axiom about this.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. But I might do Luigi's Mansion, because that's ghost hunting.
Yeah.
And then I could do Nintendo ghost hunting to regular actual Ghostbusters.
And then, you know, you and Zai really like that one game.
Dead Space.
Dead Space, yeah. There's a lot of horror games.
There's a lot of horror games out there, so I'm going to tool around with it and stuff. We'll eventually get back to Digimon, but
yeah,
I get RPG'd out sometimes, and I need a break.
I don't blame you. There's a lot of exposition towards the end of that game too.
Yeah.
20 words or less, crew. We really are that.
Yeah.
He tells you. He can tell you all the time. I yell at the TV now. It's like, you're talking too much. Just fight.
Doesn't even wake me up anymore.
Yeah, I get so annoyed. I really do. 20 words or less. Saitama is my hero, for real.
Right.
Because I love that. Just if I had a quirk, it would be silence.
I want to make an anime that doesn't have any words to it. It's just all action and
I would love
fighting and stuff, but no one talks during the entire thing.
I would love that. Link is one of my favorites too because of that.
Right.
For real. Except the 80s version of him. Excuse me,
princess. That's another one of my favorite shows too.
If you have a Mario Maker code. Oh, I almost spelled that wrong. Don't you tease
almost
me.
spelled the bad word.
Oh my goodness.
Here's all the links for the socials and whatnot.
Yep.
Though I think most of you know them.
Yep.
And YouTube. Which this will go up probably tomorrow. I don't think I'm actually going to edit this video. I did last week's and it just took forever to upload.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just going to do a direct upload and everybody can see.
Set it and forget it.
You can see all the shenanigans.
Yeah. But I'm going to get rid. Oh my goodness.
Can't catch me.
Oh my goodness. You stop the best. I'm gonna get ready to feed him, feed the kid, and just relax.
Yeah, we're gonna relax, watch some. We'll probably find another show on Funimation to watch because that's been fun.
Yeah.
I have made 3 good recommendations to her, and she's loved every show. So I'm gonna put that little up on the.
That or some Diablo 2 because I got to go slaughter some demons. They pissed me off last night. They took my money. I need my money.
So we'll see you all later. Everybody take care. Stay safe. If you go out, wear your mask. Pretend to be Prime. That's fun.
Roll out.
I do it.
Protect it.
I pull up to the drive-through windows.
Yeah.
What can we get you? I'd like some Energon.
Diablo 2 Remaster has been a lot more fun than I thought. I honestly forgot how much fun I had playing that game, but it is kind of hard.
I think I've got Diablo 3 on the computer, and I'm gonna have to re-download it. I may download it on this computer to play it.
Okay. I have fun playing 3 too, so if you want to play that again and team up, let me know.
I don't remember any of the how to play it or anything, but I think click and point.
And just know what spells you want to use, or you use spell, or
I gotta spell
just
words.
Swing. No.
I don't want to spell words.
Oh my
I'm
goodness,
terrible at spelling words.
You're killing me. You're cute. Thank goodness you're pretty. I say that to the boy too. You're a mess.
Can you handle the smolder?
All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap this up.
It's getting out of hand.
Yeah. Tell Bet we say hey. Baldur's Gate is another one. We're gonna talk video games probably next week too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Tell True to get feeling better.
Yeah, and thank you for all stopping by, Bella. Everybody, bye.
Oh wait, I can use the other thing.
Stream is ending.
I need a song.